Right. So the plan is to build a whole lot of decks, right? Basically, we have the 10 hero choices, right, that are coming in February, which is actually kind of crazy because that's still 3 months away. Like, it didn't rationalize in my head that it was actually still 3 months away, right? Despite, Silver Age coming out next month, right? But yeah, so in 3 months, these are the 10 heroes that will have a precon. So I thought the goal might be to build everyone else. And then as I was mock making just a blank deck list, right, so we could easily go into them, there's a lot. There's a lot of heroes to be made. So yeah, we'll see how far we get. It'll be fun, nonetheless, right? And at the very least, I just want to get a pile, and then, we can refine it. Other than that, enjoy your lurking. We'll save Olympia when you've got nothing going on at work, maybe. But who to start with, right? So yeah, so it'll be everyone but these 10, and then if we end up building everyone, we might just hit these 10. And then the idea is the other video series that I started, just talking about sort of intro things into the game and, starting with a deck, I will have these to use, right? And then 3 months, I think there's, God, how many was there? I think there's over 30. So I did, one every 4-ish days or something like that. I could get through all of the heroes by the time Silver Age comes out, something like that. But who to start with? 3 pages of decks, minus that. Someone easy enough for me to wrap my head around. You know what? Marlin. Because there's 2 modes of thinking for Marlin. One is you have access to Death Killer again, and that's pretty nice, right? Or the other mode is my crazy just Goldfin Harpoon pile, but I don't think you have enough access to gold to just be able to buff Goldfin Harpoon over and over again, because Gold Bait Hook Gorn is pretty big. But what we need to do is, hopefully, I think, yes, beautiful, it is up. Library has Silver Age, so we can swap the deck to Silver Age and have access to everything that's in Silver Age to figure this out. So, yeah, it'll probably be, well, I do kind of want to create some variety. So Lexi will be very much this, but probably a little bit better. Essentially thinking, right? So maybe we do make a Harpoon build. The problem is gold generation kind of ruins things, right? You still have access to a lot of the core cards and the ways to cycle, but Goldfin, and not Goldfin, Goldbait Hook, Gorn, is just very, very rough, because Marlin by far has the highest tax on gold, right? It being your fallback load, and you'll get a card to do something with, be it discard or actually use Goldfin Harpoon. So I'd like just a deck where, you could just make Goldfin Harpoon over and over again. But most likely, we might lean into the Hammerhead. Problem is, the Harpoons are also shit, right? Because all you have access to is 6. You have 6 Harpoons. I'm not including Rusty Harpoon, right? And the disruption is nice, but it's probably just build Marlin aggro, build Azalea aggro, build Lexi aggro, build Riptide. Should probably build aggro, but we'll probably mess around and build something else. Livia builds himself. You get the good hat and just run Fatigue with Steelblade, Shunt, and Oasis Respite. Sounds easy enough. The Tipple is fine, but then you have to hit yellows. And actually, I don't know how good her core of yellows are. Try and weave in boats. Because again, it becomes really rough when you don't have the gold, right? So yeah, you could feed Gold Tipple back into your Goldfin Harpoon over and over again, and it's like free damage, and that's probably just going in the deck regardless. But to do more than that with it is a little rough. I'm curious about that, because I've said it before, but I do want to eventually see rares and other stuff in the expansion slot, because they don't quite equate to what we used to get with the supplemental set, right? We've done a couple times, right, where we've compared expansion slot to, supplemental set. and then Armory deck, and then, you know, the little Blitz Recons, and while you get some good stuff, it doesn't, you know, quite compete with the level of rare and common and equipment support that you get through a supplemental set. So I wouldn't be surprised if at some point the expansion slot gets a bit more open, and, you know, the nail in the cross was probably them going back to 15 cards rather than 16 cards, because with the 2 token slots, then that's was definitely feasible, right? You just replace a token with a rare more often, and you don't touch the Majestics or anything like that, right? But, you know, here's hoping. Yeah, the set 18 is a weird one as well, because again, it's meant to be workable with all 10 classes that are here, right? Which is every class bar Thief and Necromancer. So, you know, if you throw Necromancer into the set just to have a new hero, and maybe that's the main hero of the set or something like that, that's very, very curious how they're going to make the booster pack fit with each deck, right? Because unless the idea is just here's a little bit of extra value, and the booster pack has nothing to do with actually, you know, getting something to tweak the deck with, that could be the case, but I would assume combo classes and then a whole bunch of, you know, expansion slot support, right? And then the way to really do that effectively would be to make it rare so that there is, say, an expansion slot card every pack or so. But that would also, in my mind, make them go back to 16 tokens, right? So you have token, and then you have token, expansion slot, rare, expansion slot, majestic, and high rarity card, something like that. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it works. Because the other thing that I didn't rationalize, I thought, because they're in 2 chapters for whatever reason, and I guess it's just for delivery's sake, but they're releasing at the same time anyway. So it's redundant, right? All 10 decks come out at the same time, which means all 10 decks are for the set, rather than, you know, the first 5 being for the first set, right? I don't know why that idea got in my head, but yeah. It's mainly just, you know, instead of having a display be one of each deck, and then shops being left with, you know, the worst deck in the pile, which will still happen, and that's the main issue with the Blitz and everything, and forcing the whole thing down people's throats, right, in terms of stores buying, you know, displays to sell. The hope is that, obviously, these do a lot better, and stores don't get left with, you know, who would be the weakest hero out of this so far? I'm going to say Bravo. So imagine just stores buy, you know, 2 of each, right? They sell all 4 decks of everything else, and they're left with 4 Bravos. And they just keep doing that, and just keep doing that, and they just keep doing that. And this really starts to eat into your margins, right? And that's why Blitz sort of fell apart. So, yeah, here's hoping that doesn't happen again. But as we talked about in the most recent video, 3 months is a long time for the community to shit on these decks. Right, no offense to LSS's deck construction and that, but you're given, let's say, 100,000 people, right? Free reign over Silver Age for 3 months to come up with equivalent or better decks to what you've made. And I think that gap was not the smartest idea. Yeah, Civic Steps would do it. But going back to yellows. So aside from just getting the free value out of Golden Tipple, I don't think there's much else. So we'll just go with an aggro pile, right? And we might as well start with equipment. Yeah, that. Well, it's how much do people care, because this is the other problem that they've created. If there's solid equipment, right? So my mindset, right, or my mentality as someone who will buy these is I have to buy 2 of both. If I buy 2 of both, I get 1 extra copy of whatever exclusive card they're in, right? Because that's how I get my 3, and I get 1 full set of whatever exclusive equipment they give, right? And if, you know, half the community does what I do, then there's a whole other sector of the community that no longer cares, right? Because they might only look for 1 copy, they might only look for 1 piece of the equipment, and so forth and so on. So yeah, these are not designed, they're designed as a great product, but they're not designed as a marketable product in my mind, right? They fall flat, which is a shame, because, you know, stuff like this, stuff like Smash Palace, I would really like to see continued, but it's the same issue that Blitz had. Now, granted, that issue will be better, hopefully, because of the exclusive cards, but you'll still have lots of people just breaking down the decks, right? And lots of people who don't care for every single new card. And then if they shoot themselves in the foot, but then do right by the community and put the cards in the gem pack and the set themselves, then these decks have even less value, right? It's a very hard area of their own market to inject a product into, because it had to be cheap enough for people to go, this is worthwhile, and not just go ask someone, right? Do you have XYZ of cards? Because that's the other thing I said, right? I could basically build any Silver Age deck through, or I could build, lots of Silver Age decks through all the chaff that I have in my closet. So to me, the value of these decks is not the deck themselves, but whatever exclusive cards. And some people will be, cool, $20 deck, not to think. For others, it'll be, well, why would I even bother spending $20 when, I could just most likely get a free deck from someone, or through just picking apart, the chaff at my LGS. So yeah, it will be very interesting to see how they land, but I think the worst thing is this gap from November to February. Like, they should have been sporadic, or Chapter 1 should have come out early as a sneak peek, maybe even a sneak peek into the set. Yeah, it would have screwed things over with the world premiere and everything like that, but there is a lot of pros and cons to the decks overall from a marketable thing. So, yeah, at least they got the price point right? And hopefully that's acceptable enough. Alright, equipment. So, I mean, when in doubt, you just basically dump this into everything. And at the very least, your sideboard will probably be Blade, Beckoner, and your Arcane, right? And then whatever pieces you don't need. With the idea being that you don't need Bullseye, right? If you're in a weapon-heavy matchup, the value of Blade Beckoner is just really, really good, right? And then if you're an Arcane, you obviously just take Arcane. Almost every list will probably start with this in their inventory. To some extent, right? There'll still be, like, pieces that you want to use overall. So Bullseye and the other one, was it? Something fins. Glidewell fins, right? And that would be instead of the Blade Beckoner gloves. I mean, that's not bad. Equipment is a lot easier to figure out than I thought it would be, which is nice, right? Then you just want something, utility-based, something functional. Part of me wants Hope Merchant's Hood, but without the 2 Arsenal slots, it's not super value. Just the ability to reset 1 card. I don't think they need to. Yeah, I feel it was common enough. And although people are going, this is so good, it also just depends on what ends up being played, right? So right now, yeah, the thought that everything's open and there's definitely enough weapon classes to make it workable. But yeah, it does depend. I think they do better by just offering an alternative that's, at least some of the block value and then a better functional effect, right? Like the Glidewell fins, right? So I lose 1 point in block value to be able to Arsenal and get a +1, right? Arsenal Disruption is probably what you, or Arsenal Play, right? Is probably what you want. But there are lots of really nice options. I really like how much the equipment is opened up, right? When you take out Majestics and Legendaries, because, there's valid reasons for a lot of this different stuff. If we're in a bit, heavier basis, Halo's Minor is a lot of prevention, especially against aggro, right? Hope Merchant's Hood, just to cycle stuff would be really nice. What else do we have? Defense and looking at the top card of your deck. But so far, my mentality would probably be that to get rid of your Arsenal card. How much can we get to? We don't take actual deck sideboard pieces. We can get to 15 equipment. And a Ranger, specifically Azalea, is supposed to be OP in the format. Probably. Her, Valda, anyone who can just dominate. Because the whole thing about it is, if you can get your opponent on that back foot where they have to now give everything, then you've won. In Blitz, that was the whole crux of it in Blitz. The Seekers. Yeah, that's also nice. Well, there's lots of stuff we could take. Probably build on the deck first. So Tibble still makes sense. The idea being that once you have one up and running, you just repeat it. But I don't know if there's enough other gold generation. Tibble. I don't think it's worth trying to mash in the harpoons. It'll be golden Tibble. What other gold gen is there? It's also like looking at this with fresh eyes, because a lot of these cards you just, click past, click past, click past. And now there's a rationale to actually think about them. So the problem is the value of Death Dealer goes down to being a load and get a plus. So you really do want to lean more onto buffing. So I don't even know if we want like Charter Course to get to multiple arrows. I think, well, so if we take enough starting, go again, then it's fine. It'd be like chart the course, and then we can just thumb through things with go again. Because the idea is load this and then rely on just playing other stuff. Nimby would be so nice. Taking a bunch of buffs at load. Place is definitely fantastic. Yeah, I feel like inertia goes way up. Yeah. But then it'd just be the go-to. Probably still not great value, Monkey Powder. Ravenous Rabble, maybe. Doesn't mean reds we sit on. If you're an aggressive deck, I guess Scar for a Scar. It's still a 4 and you can follow it up after an arrow. Don't think we'll have enough blues to swell. But it should probably just be able to go get arrows at this point. This does load face up. Yes, beautiful. Molten shots. I feel like I'm missing one to go get arrows. I mean, a Falcon Wing, that was the other one. I think either Rabble feels kind of bad in this because it will definitely lean more aggressive. Right, 20 cards. Want the yellows. Probably not. It should maybe be Sycamore yellow. Sycamore yellow. No, stick on go again. Just for now. And there's probably no reason not to stick like Razor Reflex in. You basically want 12-ish go again arrows, 8-ish non-go again arrows. That should work out comfortable. I think we're at that. And stuff like Toxicity is also a lot of good value. Probably taken in blue. Take some Bolton shots. Is that the one that untaps the bow? Pull in the big guns. No, it's low. Beautiful. Yes. Exactly what we want. Speaking of reload, I mean, surely you just take this because of the value anyway, right? Anything, any 4 blocks that you have access to should just be sort of auto-included. Problem is, currently, we're not really doing anything that Azalea doesn't do better, if that makes sense. Like, ideally, what you'd really want is arrow, tipple, harpoon, arrow, tipple, harpoon, something like that. Look like a sinker. I don't think you'd have enough hits. I feel like this is just a little bit better for Riptide. Although you can aim's restricted completely, isn't it, as well? You have Barb Castaway for aim, but you don't have Sandscour Great Bow. And a lot of the aim payoff cards are majestic anyway. What are the powerhouse arrows? Widowmaker? And a 5. 1 for 5. Searing Shot. Searing Shot. I guess red. Searing Shot. You do have the Blood Rot ones. Aim. Stuff like Blood Rot, just the chip damage will be really nice. Damage prevention? That's probably sideboard. I'd like to weave in boats. Because again, this is just going to end up as worse as Azalea currently. Salvage shot. S. Drill shots. No powder. Salvage shots. Alright, so we're a little over. Oh, not by much, actually. For having equipment, sideboard. God, having the inventory is so nice. So, the reason why it's tempting is just because of Death Dealer, right? Because Death Dealer, you have an arrow in hand, you go Death Dealer, pitch a blue. There's not too many go again boats, though, is there? They're not called boats. High Tide was their thing. Like, take Swiftwater Sloop. No, Swiftwater Sloop doesn't work. I'm trying to think. Because you go Death Dealer, load an arrow, pitch a blue, draw a card. Right? And that seems decent enough. And then you have to be able to play one with Go Again, and that's the issue. Unless you play an expensive arrow and get down to 1 resource. Both seems workable, and maybe I want to do that just for variety. Is there any quivers? No, the only isn't the only quiver that's not majestic the Crow's Nest? Are they called quivers, or we'll go offhand? Yeah, I think the only quiver is Crow's Nest, and even that might be majestic. I mean, easiest way to find out. Ah, Riptide and Azaleas. Yeah, so the 2 specs. Right here, tangled in my glasses. Non-majestic. Everything else is unfortunately majestic. Oh, she needs one to create confidence. It's, well, even maybe not even just a quiver, just a like a trophy bag or something. Yeah. The problem though is you need the go again piece. We need something else to feed resources into. I think I'd rather that, right, than creating an Azalea pile. Especially if we go back to the videos I want to do on these, right, where we sort of talk about what this hero can do a little bit differently. Then I'm also not relying on buffs. Yeah, I think I'd rather boat since we do have access to Death Dealer. It should be a little fun. I wish there was a clear all button for your deck. Because there's definitely some solid blues for us to take. The harpoons are 2 costs, which does make them workable. The problem is still how we get a go again piece, right? Because ideally, where's my little writing utensil? Oh, blank space, perfect. So we go Death Dealer to load an arrow and float 3. Well, float 2, right? Because we're using 1 on Death Dealer. We then need to, well, we can boat straight away, and then that would be 1 resource left over. So the arrow needs to most likely go before the boat, because there's no go again. I mean, that's the simplest. Go again, boat. Go again, boat. And having access to the 1 extra card from Death Dealer. That means we have to consistently draw an arrow, and we do want a 1-cost arrow. Back to High Tide. None of these have go again, but the overpower is nice. Start with them. Probably the reds and the yellows, and the blue. You probably get away with Sloop, and then late game it's a go again piece. Sloop's the tricky one though, because off Death Dealer we can't. You'd have to pitch a yellow into it. You have to go yellow blue, which might actually be workable. How many cards in hand? Arrow, pitch, boat. No, you can. You have 1 block piece. Yeah, you have 1 block piece. Because in hand you have 2, 3, 4. You have an arrow to load. You have a boat to play. And then you have a card to pitch. So you have 1 card free to block. Right, because then you draw. You have to draw another blue, though, is the only tricky thing here, right? Well, you don't. You can go yellow-blue because we're doing 4-1, most likely, because there's no good 2-cost arrows. So we'd always have a resource spare, which also doesn't feel great. But that it doesn't seem awful. A boat into an arrow, a boat into an arrow, or an arrow into a boat. It is, though. I don't think there's enough go again arrows. Just a gold block. Yeah, test of gold. You can take the defense reaction one. You might actually have access to a decent amount of 4 blocks. What do we have access to? Take cover, test of strength, tripwire on the horizon. I mean, that's not bad. Like, even if you just take the 3. I don't like having the 1 resource to play with. Unless that's just us, or our queue to, be able to go yellow, blue, yellow, blue. But we run into the trouble of the go again, right? Because we have to load an arrow, so it has to be an arrow with go again. Or some way to give these go again, which I guess would be like flying high. Doesn't feel great forcing you to go again. And then if we become an aggressive deck that can't block, we're a lot worse. Because you have to clear the arsenal in order to utilize this, right? can remember most of them. Sick'em is a 1 cost. Beautiful. Swift shots. 0 cost, which is fine. Still 4. Tipple should still be workable, right? Because we have that extra resource. No, because we don't have the card advantage for it. As long as we're feeding Goldfin Harpoons into it, it's fine. Yeah. It's easier when you just have a pile where you go buff, 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 arrow. Buff, 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 arrow. But we want fun and creativity. So here we are. Go again on an arrow. Why aren't there more that cost? Bolt and shot. Problem is the plus onto bolt and shot. Yeah, I think Tipple fits. It's really that starting goal that becomes an issue. Go back to the 4 blocks. While we're here. Do I have to lean on sloops to make this workable? Because there's other go-get pieces we can take. This is strength. Take cover on horizon. So we're a bit light on blue currently. I mean, cost-wise, the harpoons are fantastic, but you really need to go again. Well, they're not fantastic because they're not great. Would I make a... Look forward to building tech like God. I mean, there's still a good chunk. No. Both... No. There's one set that's not majestic, from memory. Got along... Plus, I never promised these would be good. I really want to take Sloop. That might be greedy. What are we at? 34. Not horrendous. Punch above your weight's a great end piece for resource usage. But yeah, it's the lack of the go again cohesion is a problem right now. Silver Age here. Beautiful. Alright, we'll see if this is even minutely functional. I don't have the proper equipment. But the idea is what we're looking for, right? So we go Death Dealer, pitch a blue, load Swift Shot, not get a blue. And then Arsenal block. Still, it was 10 to start. 1 card left. Not horrendous. But probably needs more blue. What are we at? We're at 16 blue, so it's not even a 2 and 4 chance. Game polarity. Against Arcane would be a 0-2 meh. You just take like Bastion, right? Because we're just looking to block with 1 card, so it could be useful. Won't get to 3 attacks, so China Course is no good. Maybe it should just be the go again. Be a little bit of chip damage. Do we have enough blue cards for flying eye to work? I mean, that's our shitty arrows. This is also a case where this gets smoothed out by the blue legendary, right? Because then you just take all the shitty arrows, but then at least you have to go again to then be able to send a boat. I feel like she gets thoroughly stomped by not having access to Majestics and Legendaries. We are in more blues now, so Rabble's not horrendous. Nip is at least a +1. Hmm. Maybe the harpoons are disruptive enough. Nah, I don't like them. It can't be. What are we at? We're at 44, so I have to take some stuff out. I don't want to take blues out. The tipple? Does that have to give? Definitely not the defense stuff or the go again arrows. But exactly enough blues. Guess which ships are worst? And they are 3-block cards as well, though, so that's really nice. I don't actually think I would give up the ships. I think it has to be the tipples. I think we just keep the blue tipple. But then just tipple alone is not good enough. Because you really need the gold. And then just for safety, another blue. Probably infecting shot. Salvage shot. Should probably be salvage shot. Alright, let's give it another whirl. You need to figure out a layout that allows this to be decent, as well as what we're doing. I mean, I could zoom in slightly, I suppose. Yeah, but then the top starts to be cut off. We don't need the chat, so it'll be like that. Problem is now, if I swap back over, there's all this extra space here and my camera's blocking more cards. I guess I just really have to get into the habit of swapping them. We were down. That, I think it was. Over a bit more. Hmm. Alright, so our turn is no arrow now. Oh, God. But I guess Rabble's fine. There's a blue on top. Zero hand. Might not be workable. It might just have to be an aggressive deck. Because unless everything lines up, we're screwed. And the only way I can take more arrows is if I take them in blue. If I take them in blue, they're not great. We get a blue? Yeah, but we didn't even get a blue. Wow, it'd still be that first. Okay, eating inputs. If we're not proccing the high tide, I don't think it's worthwhile. So, it's been unfortunate, but yeah, I guess we go back to an aggressive pile. Well, we tried. We tried with ships. I don't think they're workable in any deck. You just have better things going on with Puffin. Alright. Speed through. I was hoping to get more decks done. But so far, we're not really getting there. Gonna make a... And the good red arrows. Actually, am I leaning too heavily in arrows? The idea should be one arrow pump, which means we don't really need to go again pieces. So, basically, if they're not breakpoint, we don't care about them. One shot still leads to another arrow, so that's fine. Don't need the sick of shots. Dry powder. And then just any other decent arrow. Affecting, steering. Sleep that will probably be sideboard. Same with Murkmire. I mean, 24 arrows, that should probably be enough, and then the rest should all be arrow gains. I might have to revisit this, because we are basically just... Azalea does this better. In terms of a deck. 32... reload is fine, but it's not necessary. It should be fine. And then it's just in my head. Right. Tipples. We have enough yellows. I guess you pitch it away until you get the first yellow discard. Make the Goldfin Harpoon. One more card. Right. Whichever one gives go again. Maybe Sinker. Nope, it is line. Alright. Workable starts. And it should be a bit more functional. Alright, so your Death Dealer. Put it face up. Draw a card. Play. Shoots. Arsenal. Problem is now that this doesn't have go again, though. Makes it a bit rough. You want pieces to Arsenal. You want buffs to Arsenal. Means I probably want more. Because right now, our turn is not making use of Widowmaker. And Arsenal with Tipple. More yellow buffs. Arrow. Gains. We do have a flood of resources. A Fool's Gold would be a nice boost in power, but it's probably not worth it. Not a horrendous pile. Not fantastic, though. Fix up equipment, and then I think we'll move on to the next one. So I don't get too bogged down. Then I can always circle back through and refine them. I don't think it's the one resource. I don't actually think we need it. I think we're fine to start defensively. It'll probably be Blade Beckner, Norrin Swap. And then we're missing legs. It'll probably be Snaps. We go again. Oh wait, there are no snaps. Good. In which case, pay, because we do have the resources. Try and work nimblism in. But the scenario where that comes into play means I have to have nimblism and I have to have 2 arrows. Otherwise, we don't care about the go again. Probably not worthwhile. Probably still a defensiveness. Hmm. The Everest scenario, glidewell fins. Yeah, if we have 2 arrows, I think that's fine. We'll call this the workable start. Not perfect, but not horrendous either. Like, I like this a lot better. Get our gold. Don't click too many things. We can, because we can load swift shots. Like, this is the type of turn we want. How often do we get there? Probably not too often. They might make it full aggressive. Obviously, we don't want that. Well, it's actually not horrendous, because it does put back in our hands. So it's either a pitch ball or another playable. We try line. Line might be cut. Well, actually, no, the purpose of line is for the late game only, so we don't play it. Pitch it. 11. Load up on defense. Inertia clears theirs. Then we have the tipple chain, so that's what we like. It's the other one. Goldfin Harpoon. Now it turns a bit too costly, and we have to always clear the arsenal. So, if we ever arsenal something, we have to be able to clear it, because if we lose the arsenal slot, then Death Dealer drops way down. But it still seems like a workable start. Alright, so we'll say Marlin's half-baked. This is also nice, because I can tell which one we've done, because I'll have Sage. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Bang should be easy enough, actually. Right? I feel like you'd still take this. Nah, if you lose your dagger, it's horrendous. Also, majestic. Note to self. Have to change format. First thing. Better. Now, Quicksilver. We should still have the majority of cards, right? Because both him and Syndra seem to have most of their kits. Right? Like, we have no issue making a decently strong deck. Granted, I haven't played Fang in a while. And then once he's turned on, he also seems really, really scary. What's good? Because you still have stuff like Blaze Headlong. You still have all the Filthy pieces, right? Ledge Filthy. Well, that should be nice. And which one do you normally take? I feel like it's for the Drakkar, but might be for the Emperor. We are in a very red deck, so I'm going to say it's for the Drakkar. And then we go back to Dagger. I think the most we want, well, a yellow. We probably still want to double in blues. Mark is nice. +4. Attack with an additional time. And that feels like it will just lead to stomping. Where is it? Twist. Problem is they're not attack reactions though, so they see it coming. What blues would you take? Enchant seems nice. Hmm. I mean, stuff like that, just for the value. Suppose you could also just bank on not needing it, right? Because you know what? We'll cheat for this one. Because the fealty package for Fang has just become pretty nice. Like, we look at this list, for instance. You go rarity. Like, that's pretty gross. Gonna cheat with it. Why'd I grab both tabs? They're joined, because that's how Opera works. Alright, so I grabbed Blaze. I think I grabbed Blistering. Belligerent, we grab Pledge, Proclaim. Just as an instant mark. I can get away with more of that. Scar Tissue. Problem is, defensive side probably goes down. And then it's just about finding replacements for the Majestics. Fire and Brimstone not worth running? To go again on the second, I guess you don't have enough go again pieces for Fire and Brimstone to end up being worth. Hmm. But in terms of yellow and blue, probably need a little bit more. You probably run Shunts and List somewhere. I think that is what's missing. Down the alarm. Don't know if we take enough to sound the alarm. March of Loyalty is essentially instead of Oath. Fall to the surface. What are the chances this hits something that we can play effectively? We hit a red attack, fine. Because you can still play it. We hit a red buff. I haven't played Fang since the Hunted. You do one Quicksilver dagger, so you need one Draconic card to turn on both daggers. The problem is you lose the Chain Link, and that turns off a lot of the high stat buffs. So I think it's not workable to have both. You probably still want the mark, because getting to 3 filthy is your big game plan. I think the only thing that's still missing is probably some defensiveness. So, basically, we should just do this at the start of every list. Is just go, what 4 or more blocks do they have access to? And what's really usable. I mean, shunts in general, because we just pitch them. Could be just a nice workable start. Because no matter what, we can block with it. And it's good value. Anything else that marks well? You still really want reactions. And for the fun of it, I'm going to put Fire and Brimstone in. Ah, it's not good, actually. There's a blue card that marks and goes on the bottom if you attack this turn. Exposed, is that what it's called? What's Death Spiders do? That seems like definite sideboard. I want to say exposed. No, it's this. It's a Relentless Pursuit. Attack them this turn, put some on the bottom of its own deck. Problem is, once you get to 3, then they start dropping off. But if we were just trying this to start out... Right? Dagger. Tooth. Problem is, now we don't have the next go again. They're not marked. We have too many resources. Reaction. We want Draconic. What am I missing? 1 for +3. I don't think so. Because again, the bulk of wherever I put it, the tournament lists that have actually been pretty workable. It again, rares and commons to get to 3. I suppose plan for the worst. Cut out the yellows. Probably still want this. Work out probably just against a red line deck. A hit and run. Next weapon attack so gets to go again. I think you really want to trap with Fang. Because worst case scenario is they underblock so that they can prepare for the second dagger, and then you just dump your hand anyway. Probably be that. Also not great. We are losing out because of that initial fealty. I suppose the turn does become a little bit cleaner like that. At least the next dagger hit marks. It's not great. At least we got a fealty. I think I'm also trying to be too aggressive, because it's about a slow burn. Like, this is now ramping up. What's the better? Since we're not at filter, you probably still want go for the mark. Because either we're getting marks, and we're happy, or we're whittling them down. Problem is, the defensive cards don't really come into play until after we get to a filter. Which is what we're at, so we stop caring about resources. And now it's just about dumping your hand. Which means we're also fine to start playing shunts. More or less. Oh, how did I skip over a full turn? Well, I don't know. That was weird. Seems like it's eating inputs. I don't know how much I like the new table. How's your average value per turn? I guess that's nice enough. And depending how they block, you wouldn't overextend there. But shunts are nice. They become your lifeline in the late game. Really have to get the marking and fealty generation down. Oh, that's not the card I want to pitch. What's our turn? Pledge into March. Dagger Swing. I don't quite have enough cards to make this work. I guess you just go for the fealty. Dash. This is probably you don't get enough value out of it. Well, that kind of worked. Then we still have the resource floating. Like, that was a very decent turn. Over 0 cost. Break a fealty. Scar tissue. Place headlong. Then, you know, if they block out for the Drakar. And then if they don't, you go stab. Stabbing Pain. We're getting there. Semi-real decks is what we'll go with. If we can weave a gimmick in, sure. But yes, I'm trying to make some beginner-friendly stuff. Alright, more or less. That's a pin in Fang. Oh, aside from the equipment. Wait till we get to Reckless. Is there anything? Mark Arachne. I think it's pretty much just Blade Beckner and... Well, no, target attack action. Blade Beckner. Bunker Beard? Oh, if only that worked with attack reactions, Bunker Beard would be nice. Don't think we have enough resources to use Mida. Potentially Seeker's Hood. It's probably just going to be a whole bunch of Norun. Garland definitely works better, and this probably don't want the Arcane either. Legs. Weirdly, Fleetfoot Sandals seems okay. Fair enough. I mean, it does feel like you can get wide enough at the at I always forget his name. I want to say Reckless runs, Berserk runs at OGKO. Like you can get wide enough that it averages out. No, Fleetfoot Sandals are fine with the daggers. Problem is, this has to hit, and for it to hit, you're most like playing a reaction. I guess that gets you out of hot water with other stuff, though. But Fleetfoot Sandals feels like a better bait. If your opponent doesn't block, then you can Fleetfoot Sandals. Or even if they overblock, you can Fleetfoot Sandals. I think I still like that more. Chest, legs. That just leaves arms. That's most likely, again, Blade Beckoner. Actually, Gallantry Gold is a nice spike in power, and it has some defense. But then we go Norun. It should actually probably be Spell Void. Because you want to get ahead of them. Spell Void's probably better, because we don't have enough pitchables. Yeah, there's just so much go again. 2 cards short. Traps. No. They don't have to be full 55 card list, surely. Awesome. Been an hour and we've gone 2 down. Where is KO? Because that will be nice and easy. There we are, Berserker Runt. Surely you gamble and flex speed. No, it's a 5, it can't be doubled. You know what, no blue. We only want to gamble. I mean, I had... I had a list. I'm pretty sure I can just use that. There we are. Alright, yeah, the bluster buff and stuff. There are a lot of nice cards for us to yoink. If you go wide enough, dice rolls should average out. You should be happy. I actually think I were taking Buck Wild in this. I think it was too costly. I took yellow. I should just do wind up, that's easier. You like this inclusion. Strongest Survive is fantastic if you get the double on it. Oh, somehow that worked. Dallas. Nope, that's the wrong one. We had pulping. Just to turn on mandible claws, basically. Nope, Ragnarok is what I'm trying to type. Why am I 2 cards short? What did I miss? Dun 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 dun. Ah, Barraging Bighorn. And luckily you have some really good equipment. Oh, and actually, I was taking Ball Breaker instead. Mandible Claw is a switch. We need it. Harry's Helm is just a whole lot of block, which is great. And Barkbone. I'm just missing arms. Hey, Nightflux. You know what? That's my bad. Keep forgetting. When I made this, Silver Edge was not on Fabry just yet. Did I cut anything from the deck? Vigorous Smash Up, right? Yeah. It's fine, we'll find a healthy replacement. Do we even care about pitching to Arcane? Really? I still haven't looked at him at all. He seemed cool. Seemed much better than old Bravo. We comfortably get this? No. Hmm. Just something defensive? I mean, we have... What? We have 1, 2, 4. We don't actually need anything defensive. We could just take something for a little bit of oomph. Punching Glove, I feel like we could end up with extra cards. Uh, mainly there for defensive, so the Null Rune headpiece is fine. That's our spike in power, that's sort of a necessity, so it's gloves and head, yeah. And I still am missing one more card. What? Should probably just be Stronger Survive. If you high roll on this, that's such a good turn. Yeah, what is it? It's Azalea, Velda-ish, Bravo. Maybe Pleiades? Seem just disgusting. Because there is nothing against Dominator, right? That's quite the hand to start. But definitely nice enough. I mean, so we rolled, but it was still a 9 turn, right? That's fair. Obviously, we just have to take the hits. We can overpitch for Buck Wild. Then that doesn't leave us open for Stronger Survive. But it does allow us to just Ball Breaker for 3. Dash the Strongest Survive. That's not bad. It is if we keep missing the rolls, though. Do we need the wind up? No. Zal Speeding's a bit of a miss. Horrendous. So I probably want to wind up. Man. So unlucky. Give me some. Yeah, finally a 12. I don't, if I hit just a little bit higher, I mean, ball breaker. Should probably just be ball breaker. I mean, 15 turn is nothing to sneeze at. Maybe mandible claw would be a bit better. I mean, do you have your Sage deck build? We can run it if you wanna, if you're up for a game. We're almost dead. You don't really block. You don't really need to block. I don't mind over pitching into Buckwild too. Then also clears our hand, right? I float too many resources then to pulping. Where punching glove could clean up my hand a little. So I'll be floating 2 left, which would just be ball breaker. I'm better off pulping first. See what we hit. Yeah, if you want a game. A bit lazy of me. Oh, we've built what? 3 decks at this point? I will definitely have to just power through them in my off time. Oh. Let me give this a comb over. Quickly though. Cut the blue just for the sake of cutting the blue. No, because they really make everything run smoothly. I think I was just double drawing blues too many times. Screw it. Yeah, if you're up for a game. I always miss the button. Where are you? You're on YouTube. Oh. Now, we just need the usual luck against you. How many hits do I have for Mandible? You have to go first. 1, 2, 3. I'll stick with Ball Breaker for the value. Alright. Let's see what we can do. Well, get some damage. Because why not? Leave me with something. It's still a 9. Not bad. I keep the chest puff. I do. Yeah, so anytime I've played, oh, I just high roll 7 and lose all hero card effects. See, that's actually kind of nice with my hand. That I kind of wanna, but I should probably block a little. What are we holding on to? I guess Wild Ride is what we play first. And Barraging. So I should probably give the Strongest Survive. And if it's a pummel, it's a pummel, but we kind of have the hand size for it anyway. Yeah. In which case, we what? Still take the hand size. What does this do? Lose all hero card effects and activate abilities till the end turn, which is fine. Our turn is just clean. And ditch the Mighty Wind Up. Alright, no Dominate, but we have to be wary of a card in Arsenal now, though. Yes, my luck's run out. Well, that went from good to bad. It's just a 4. Well, I'm gambling. What we do. So, all this. Beautiful. Bare Fangs. Road Bean Trackers. Run through our equipment, though. I mean, we just have to high roll. But we can't kill him, and Dominate should probably just kill us here. Should beat this Alice beating. Fortunately, 14 doesn't do it. Does the Quicken help us at all? That should just still be chest buff. Wasted my luck on the headpiece. And it will be a nice, big, juicy Dominate. Hook Slam, 10. Not a pummel in hand, though. So I can... probably the Barraging. We slightly live. Then another card for Dominate coming up. Pretty abysmal rolls. Except for the Knucklehead. Sort of bought us an extra turn. Not dominated, weirdly. Our turn would probably try and be... Well, it can't be the Buckwild. Would probably just be Bluster Buff, Stash Buckwild. Yeah, Blue Pummel. So we just have to hit a high roll. That's a no. And this will definitely get through at least 1 damage. Yeah. Plus I was the only block in my hand anyway. I mean, the nice thing is that went on for a lot more turns than you'd expect, which is fantastic, right? Because that's what we want to see. Game log? Is that the old style? That'd be a no. That's right down the bottom. Interesting. I mean, 16, 19, 12. That's not horrendous. GG. I gotta roll on you once, surely. Mainly on the Knucklehead, which would probably have been just better keeping for block. But it's nice that it did still go quite long. I say quite long, it was 6 minutes. But it's still a proper back and forth. Rather than, probably dead by turn 2 or 3. But yeah, Bravo definitely does seem nice. Especially because Guardian has access to a lot of good tanky equipment as well. Yeah, that definitely bought me a turn, essentially. I mean, I could have been really greedy and not blocked at all, but I don't think I had enough go again pieces to actually make that work well. With a high roll like that, maybe Mandible Claw is actually better. But I think for just pushing, because it is just about getting them low enough where they have to start giving their hand. Then that sort of buys you back a little bit of time for when you really badly roll. Aside from Knucklehead, I think I only got one card doubled. It wasn't anything super impactful either. I was also a mid-range hero, you gotta remember Faye and Briar in the format. Problem is, I don't think you outcompete them, though. Like, Faye probably rushes you down, right? Still, you just have to roll correctly. And this deck is decent. I mean, if it's one attack and ball breaker, then you're pushing what? Like a 16 a turn. You get 2 attacks off and a ball breaker. And even if you whiff one of them, you'd still be fine. The double is worth more than the half. Because that's the overall objective to make this workable, is just be able to go 2 to 3 attacks and then hopefully have the roll pay off. There might be a bit too many misses, though. I end up with more resources than I needed. You probably cut the smash. Put something else in, another 6 to double. It might be worth looking at the beat chest cards just to turn on Mandible. Like beat chest buff, Mandible, normal attack. No, it's too many resources. Because beat chest doesn't get your card back. Hmm. You need a card in Arsenal to make beat chest effective. And you definitely, I don't think, have enough pieces to go block, come back. Yeah, I'm surprised Pummel, at least in red, wasn't hit. Because you could probably just build around that. Like, that's one angle for Marlin we didn't explore. Was the resource value of Death Dealer plus Pummels in just the Harpoons. Might be okay. Hmm. You could also do Death Dealer Slogarithm, maybe? For big boats. That could also be workable. Problem is, you really need an arrow that you can recycle. Oh yeah, Arm KO in this same sort of deck is literally just 14 a turn consistently, and then you spike up to maybe 16, 17. And RKO should be fun as well. Because, yeah, both Brutes in general, well, at least for the KOs, you already had such a strong non-majestic list. Like, your majestic suggests your spike cards. Everything consistent about the decks comes from everything else. Any decent beat chest to summon battery. The agility token isn't horrendous. The one for a +5 and discard. You can use that on Mandible Claw. I mean, this would be a 3-card 9 with Ball Breaker, though. Oh, horrible. Especially with only 20 life. I'd rely on the blue. Only one weapon in KO, he has 2. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm so used to the other 2 KOs, that's why. Because, literally, the deck that, well, the initial version of this, I looked at this and went, why are they both in the starting slot? That doesn't make sense. I can't use both. Yeah, it should be Mandible Claw. And all these deliberations on when is Mandible Claw better doesn't matter. And then the idea is much more comfortable because now we go attack, Mandible Claw, Ball Breaker, attack, Mandible Claw, Ball Breaker. That's probably significantly better. Oh, it's such a little thing from playing too much of the other 2. Watch this now just run so much smoother. Without the go again, though. But, I mean, off of this, you could try and get lucky. So, this is much needed. I mean, it's turn 1. Still playing this. Probably just take the Arsenal card. Pushing a 14 is not bad. If you push to 14, you could probably pressure. I should have banked the Buck Wild, since this is a bit harder to get the correct things into the pitch zone. Yeah, we didn't get left with it. But our turn now is Mandible Claw, Wild Ride, and then if we hit something better, we could have finished with Ball Breaker, and that would have been a really nice turn. Ooh. I mean, technically, you could always luck it. One, unfortunate. And then since we do have to go again at the end here, we're a lot more able to Knucklehead. Granted, the miss on Knucklehead does suck, though. Probably still want to Arsenal. But that would filter into Ball Breaker here. Like so. Do we miss on the pummel? Popping? No, because I had go again. Why was that only 3? Not crazy. That was a 3, right? Anyway. We go Buck Wild, over pitch. So we turn it on. And now we're hitting all the dice. And we have 1 resource extra. Is there a point to Wild Ride, or should I just save the blue? It should probably just be Mandible Claw. Alright, we haven't discarded. Never mind, it is Wild Ride. The Ball Breaker. So that was a 14, 18, 22 turn. And even if we whiffed on this, I would have gone down by 7, makes it 15, then another 3. So it would have been a 12 turn, right? Which then still makes it average. So it's definitely workable, the deck. Cool. Yeah, but we'll leave it at that. I have to re-go through them and probably find some little ads for, certain decks. I think who's easy for us to wrap our head around. Guess I've played a bit of Syndra. Again, her package should be a little bit easy. You probably still want the budget flick knives. Though your payoff with it's not too great, right? Because it's not mark or anything like that. There enough? I doubt there's enough combo cards. Blade Cuff. Pay 2 for 2+2s. Yeah, it could be nice. 9 flippers as a go again seems fair. I mean, we could throw Tigers into the mix just for the hits. The payoff for it's not great. So what headpiece are you taking? Anything worthwhile? Naming a card doesn't seem too significant. Yes, the ability to recycle 2 cards does seem kind of nice. Or it should probably just be Bunker Beard. As defensive utility. Yes, should definitely be the resource. Right. I do like this card more. It's a bit more awkward, but we'll take it because it's prettier. Arms. Hmm. The ping from this is quite nice. And you do have if a dagger has hits, right? Because you'll take all the blade cards. Eh. You could just splash in tigers. If you take both this and the legs, free extra 2 damage, and then you also get the block off of it, that's probably just enough in terms of value. Right? 2 block and extra 2 damage. In terms of dagger, you probably don't need the cycling. Poison Blade is intriguing in the low life format, but it loses a lot of value without the repeat flick. So this way, Draconic Red. Hmm. Brand. Again, another deck where a lot of it's already commons in that. Just the Legendaries Majestics take it over the top. I mean, Arsenal Destruction's at a premium, so should probably always go in. The fealty, is that needed? I don't think I necessarily want to make it just red line. I'd like to make it a bit more flexible. Probably just about going wide. Or is it not to run drop? Ocean. Anything else? Because that's, with a little bit of fealty, I can also think of this as an extra 2 damage and a Draconic Chain Link, which is quite nice. Love Burst. Mounting Anger. Don't want to make it too costly. Is this usable enough? How much fealty do we have so far? 1, 2. Probably wouldn't line up effectively enough. Rising Resentment should be fine, it's just pressuring. Don't really need to give anything go again. We're at 22. And you could probably just make a red dump list. In which case, Golfing Flame Wave is probably not necessary. But I'd like to splash some other colors in. Just for the value aspect. Could definitely add Tiger stuff to the mix. Ravenous. Everyone for a dagger. It's tempting. Like, even these as just a 0-4 is really nice. Maybe an extra swing just to get the chain links. I suppose that's the proper way to look at it. It's just anything that's a 0-4. Also disgusting. Power 4 costs 0. And if we don't have it, it's still a way to end the turn. I guess March of Loyalty's fine. Maybe Scar for a Scar? And you don't usually care about the Arsenal card. Overextend. Looking at yellows and blues. Stick to Draconic. There's no reason not to take Brand. We actually need it in blue. So blue would be Dagger Swing to Dagger Swing, a 1 cost, and we don't have that many 1 costs. Or it would be Dagger Swing and a 2 cost. We don't actually need a tremendous amount of blues. And I'd rather it have a little bit of value late game. I do really like engulfing. It's a bit hard to set up. We pitch dagger this. Draconic chain links. Should hit everything in the deck but engulfing, so I guess that's fine. But we'll splash in a little blue. Mounting Anger is also a decent enough card, right? It's pushing the +1 to your next thing. Which definitely helps. Other than that, what are we missing? A little bit more dagger. Might be a little rough if I stick in all the Mounting Angers. Bubble to the Surface is just find another card. Is there any version of this that gets extra value? At least in Fang, it's find an extra card and trigger the dagger. Tigers are just for chain links. Not really a plus or anything to it. Aside from the, again, the arm leg combo, it's probably not needed. Like one more set of blue. Potentially something defensive. Or at least something that's a high priority to block. Push the point. Actually not bad. 1 cost 4. Could take hurls. Wait, are the art cards? I remember them not being M's, right? Yeah, that's my bad. So it's another dragon. I guess you can sideboard the other ones. What chain link does it have to be for breaking points? 4 or higher. Attack, attack, dagger, dagger. Blue pitch. That's still fine, but that's reliant on us getting a blue pitch. Whereas this is just reliant on a red card in hand and a filthy token. The claw's probably better. At this point, we just run it and see. I mean, we should still be able to beat out numbers here. 2, 4. The resources should probably just stash this or stash the cut through. I guess you just play it for the damage. And you don't want to banish. Take the Arsenal card. And now we just do as much damage as possible. Would be dagger swing, cut through, play dance. Could up sticks and run, swing again. Be 2 resources. Probably want to stash this. Let's probably just Syndra 1 dagger back. Play Snatch. Snatch is not so great here, right? Because we have that extra card. So really, I could have played that turn better. Like, it should have just been up sticks and run. Dagger. Pitch. 5. 6. 10. 14 if it lands. But 1 resource floating, which I dislike. It's doing exactly what we want, which is pressuring damage. It probably might be wise to clear more daggers. Okay, made a KO full gamble mode. Yeah, you wanna give it a spin? The compounding anger, a little bit rough here. I think the filthy generation doesn't work. I think we just want more go again pieces, so it's just dumping our hand. And a little bit resource generation. I really like engulfing though, because it just allows us to go a little bit wider. So, is it Hurl? Probably not Hurl. Alright, but we got a KO mirror match to do first. Now with 2 weapons. Who is the better degen gambler? And no do-overs this time at all, because no gloves. Alright. I have a feeling your deck is going to be a lot more gambly. Alright, what can we do? The reason to overpitch? Not really. Suppose we just take the big turn and then hope to clap back. I mean, I gotta, right? This is the gamble off, so we have to gamble. It's never worth it, but it could be. It's not worth it. Oh. Oh well. I mean, I wasn't going to block anyway. Not with them. Low roll, low roll, low roll. Yeah. Still, it's big. Alright. My turn. High roll, high roll, high roll. Ah. Never. Never go for the knucklehead. The knucklehead is never worth it. Like, that was such a strong opening without the knucklehead. Still, an 8. An 8 on a bad roll. And with only 2 cards. Not horrendous. Blade Beckner. Probably makes more sense than the punching gloves, in all honesty. I like the extra value. Just slap on a little extra damage. And also, you know, if we have too many misses in a hand. Yeah, that's what we like to see. What is my turn? I can get go again. I still have to discard a card, so it's not worth it. I should probably block. Just send the chest puff. Dash the barraging. I could punching gloves it. Kind of nice. I don't think the game's, you know, on the back foot enough to do that. Let it be a 13. Yeah. Beautiful. Just like that, we regain tempo. We stash barraging. Barraging feels a little weak. Maybe don't need the go again piece. Potentially the beat chest is better, just for turning on the weapon swings. Oh, and I don't actually have any of the Save us. Discard. Low roll. Smash with a big tree. We do have a wild ride. And no misses. And then a barraging, so I take the 3. We just go wide. That's off of Wrecker Romp. Mighty Wind Up. Do I need the action points? Without resources, it's probably just weapon swing, weapon swing. I can't fit the barraging in. Mandible Claw. Mandible Claw Buster Bluff is actually a bit better than Mandible Claw Ball Breaker. I suppose the Bean Trackers was a fair use there, right? Just to get the 1 extra value off the Ball Breaker. Alright. Big money. Nah. Just a 2. We're at the whims of the other's dice at the moment. But the Intimidate is pretty nice here. If I pitch those two, Wild Ride, I can still send. That should probably be the Backbone Strapping. Maybe get lucky. Yeah. I mean, I didn't have to use it right off rip, but it does sort of reshape what we're doing. Right now, it just screws us. That should probably be the Wild Ride. Or 2. Yeah. Instead of the Buck Wild. We want to go wider. I need the action points. Yes? No. Play that. Alright, so that goes to Klloo. Well, that goes to that. So no. And Buck Wild. Something going in our arsenal? Or do we just run out of cards? I think we just run out of cards. Fingers crossed. Yeah, that's what we like to see. Give me the cards. Oh, I was going to say no blocks. Oh, full reset. And a life. Should take Sirens. I think I have a bit of an easier time swinging multiple things. We don't want to miss. Plus, this could be the game. Yeah, done. Like I was the better roller. What was that? 5, 11, 13, 9, 18, 14. Pretty fair. No worries. Thanks for the game, if you're listening. It's always a nice time. Rolling with KO. I will also have to play these all a fair bit to figure out what exactly is lacking and missing. I mean, I should really just try to power through and just get all the base done, the bases done for all the decks. Change anything? I feel like I do kind of like it. Bit more on the non-greedy side. Those are the pitches. What we're trying to do. Yeah, I think it's fine as is. Oh, you just meant good game. Yes, I rolled significantly better that time. I think, but your deck has a better payoff, though. Slash also recoups because the, what are they? Barraging Beatdown definitely makes up pretty well for missing the roll. And it's good into KO, because obviously I don't want to block so much. The others, maybe not so much. It's easy enough for them to turn it off. Also, I guess, incentive for them to block more. What we're looking for, right, the dagger stuff. What does Silver Talons do? If it's Draconic, we may attack with it. We may destroy dagger. I mean, that feels fair. It doesn't have go again. Never mind. That's why it's bad. I don't think I want Hurl. 1 cost. Just to do the chip damage. I mean, closing out a game, sure. So the main issue with this deck is it has too many final pieces. Right, Snatch, March, technically. I think March can go. We can put the Fealty to good use. It's not needed. Don't have Mounting Anger. I mean, it sort of feels like you get away with just taking the full streak of Engulfing and Mounting Anger. And be somewhat okay with it. Even just not in red. Where is it? Engulfing. So even in yellow, it requires 2 blocks. Slash equipment. Blue, not so much. Mounting's 1 block regardless. think that's a little bit nicer. And then cut out mounting in red. Rising resentment, maybe? It's really nice value. Might actually be the snatch. Just a not needed little bit of value. Let's see if the turns are smooth enough. You have to open with Rising Resentment. Nope, you don't want to choose a card. Blaze it headlong. And then, if they let this through, it's dagger, and then you overextend. Why not? You get the dagger back anyway. It's more about just pushing it as a 4. Problem is, turns like this. I guess we have to pay, in which case the Mounting Anger just turns into a dagger. And I could salvage. Go Tiger. Because of the up 6 and run, you have to swing. So that's on the lower side, but it was still a 4-3-5. That's still 12. But now I lose a dagger. But we don't have the resources for it. It'll be up 6 and run. Retrieve. Swing. Brand. Tiger time. Right, and should be Draconic, and then Breaking Point. That was a pretty healthy turn. Followed by... This is a bit rough. And pay for Syndra? I don't really want to pay for Syndra. This might have been a block and stash a card type of turn. But we'll play it out, because we played out. It's maybe where the flick arms is a little bit better, because you could still just use the legs to push a Draconic Chain. And I apologize, I'm still on the zoomed in. Like, drop only costs 1 here, it's not horrendous. Pays for itself and is basically just cycle a card, which I guess is better. Breaking Point's free, but we don't have to go again. I'd have to Syndra, Dagger. And should probably be in Lava Burst instead. Wait, I have the resource? Alright, I have the discount from Rising in the arsenal. But now I'm at no daggers and it feels bad. Doesn't feel horrendous though. Because this is our reset. Right, no, I'm just 1 off, but that's fine. I mean, even without daggers, that was a pretty nice turn. So yeah, Syndra can definitely still pump numbers, even without the extra card from Mask of Momentum. I mean, this should be a nice disgusting turn as well. Is it though? I don't have the resources to play everything. And I kind of have to swing daggers first. Maybe there's not enough dagger destruction to make use of Rathe. It's just like Fang, where you can't get enough value out of it. You'd have to go 3 chain links without using your daggers. to play it for free. The upside on it's pretty significant. Full redline deck. Just need enough. Enough Draconic Go again. Which maybe I should drop the cost down. They're horribly statted. One cost. One cost. I mean, you do want a one cost to then make up for the daggers. Do you? Because you can't flick them happily enough? It must be the chip damage from Hurl, surely. Something I'm missing. On the heels is just a go again piece. Same with Lava Vein. Right, because they just have to be the second attack, they're fine. You get enough value over Rake over Coals to actually make it usable? Yeah, the dagger swings. It's a 2. 2 cards from hand would put it at 4. 1 card to pitch. So it should be a 3 to 4. I think we're toning this down. Means I want to get rid of what? Cut through's fine. Raptor Travel's fine. Do we just try to make it red line? It's just 1 card trading into a dagger. Not great. You still want some blues to spike. I mean, right now, technically, this should be 1 in 4, right? We should get a blue every turn. Big breaking point there. Cut out what? I mean, the 4 value is just so great. What's some of the 1 costs? Potion. Yes, compounding anger. Try that. Single player. So, Ravenous Rebel. Dagger. Problem is, you only really have access to 1 dagger. And right now, this would have been better with something else. Where a flick would be nice. But that definitely seems good. Alright, fealty. And that. I mean, in terms of burst damage, if it wasn't turn 1, that would be great. Problem is now the dagger. Which is fine, because we're sort of banking on that. The Mounting Anger is probably better than Rising Resentments. Get Rising Resentments. Well, no. You go Dagger. Pitch. Mounting Anger into Rising Resentment. Just to get the breakpoints. Doesn't really matter. I mean, that was some nicer value. Hey, Barony. Hopefully I'm not gutting that. So Rake over the Coals here is not good enough value. It probably doesn't line up well enough. Although I want to value this as a 4, it means you have to dagger swing. Where's Rake over Coals? Remove that. Oh. I'm going good. Building a whole bunch of decks. And the chip damage could come in handy. Yellow is workable. Where are we at card-wise? 54. Give it a spiel. Oh, that is the wrong. Still in testing, so we still want private. Now we have too many blues. Not enough chain length. You could close it just to get the value. I suppose because of the blues we do. Unless we play Mounting Anger. Do that. Close. Up sticks and run. Pay. Dagger back. And then still Dagger Swing just to Burning Blade. So. I then still have to pitch into Cinder if I want to get the dagger back for the turn. I guess is not a bad use case of Sash. But also doesn't feel like I need the daggers, necessarily. So maybe we just sit on one dagger. I don't like this going into our arsenal, but it's better than the engulfing, I think, in blue. Should probably just make it a full redline deck. Definitely still workable. And you have the damage output for it. Resource-wise, now a little rough. We want to start with Mounting Anger. I guess we start with one from Arsenal then. Do I need to discount anything? No. Oh wait, no. Mounting Anger is not the discount. Just something to hit a breakpoint. Burning Blade. Lava Burst. And we're back to it, right, in terms of damage output. What would this turn be? We have the Fealty for the Art of Dragon. We have the resources for the dagger. We have Rising Resentment to discount it, but we don't actually need the discount. Dagger. Dagger. When one of them hits, you'd cut through. Yes, you just play Rising Resentment. We just overextend. Problem is, again, the dagger issue. The payments. Slash not the payment, the inability to get it back. So maybe the Budget Flick Nudge is just so you can overextend, but then also re-get a dagger back. But I mean, if you draw correctly, it's fine, apparently. Both are 3, so it doesn't matter. Syndra. Technically give a dagger, probably, just to push the damage, because I think sitting on 1 is fine. We have Brands. And the Hurl, though. Not bad. You like Brand. No, it should be Dagger Swing first. I think I'd rather stash the Mounting Anger. Brand. Hurl. Pay the 1. Syndra. And again, swing with 1 dagger. Yeah, I think the Hurl feels comfortable. Maybe worth taking it in red. I am building essentially everyone. Well, technically I'm not building Faye because Faye comes as one of the precons. I'm building everyone bar the 10 precons that will be out in February. So it's not necessarily about the best PB deck, just about getting a workable state, right, for anyone who wants to start with X hero. It's a general idea of what I'm going for. Once again, the resource bites us in the ass. I guess you crack the fealty, the Ravenous Rebel. Vein. That's 2 Draconic, so I can play that. Pearl. Does kind of change things. Means I can just go up 6 and run. No, because I don't have the resource for her. And I'd close the chain. Maybe up 6 is not good either. Probably end up just making this red line. With a little splash. Like, the Mounting Anger should be fine. Engulfing in yellow is probably fine. The Hurl in yellow should be fine. Up 6 doesn't seem necessary. So we want 0 cost, bring a greater, and go again. But it does seem like Faye can go definitely wide enough. Well, that should definitely be in. Always miss minor cards. Kind of like more marking or fealty, but it should probably just be Ronin Renegade. I mean, that feels comfortable enough. You should be able to push damage. Alright. Getting there. We've done 4. 4 out of a ton of heroes. Yeah. There's someone easy we can pick on. I know what I'm doing with KO. So, this should be easy enough. Because you still have access to basically everything you need. No outside interference and Mocking Blow start in the deck. The crowd boos. Get to swap over to Silver Age. Crowd boos. A villainous pose. Yeah, with the pre-go again, I can see that. Oh, right, yeah, it's probably the Hell of the Despised. And remember, equipment is downgraded. And that's... well, it's a blocking piece, so you probably don't need it in a Soul Arcane matchup. Knucklehead, even though it's more block, it's probably not worth it. You definitely want the resource. But it's also not independent. I don't think we can get overbearing too easily. Stockpiling 3 Vigor good enough. I could see it. I can also see this being a bit better than a Garland. Arms. Probably Mighty Knucklebone. 1 block and then potentially a spike. And we should be able to take most of the arcane pieces. And legs. Probably just something defensive. One and the go again potential. Probably the Blade Beckoner in Null. If we go into Arcane, was one that we don't want to get rid of. Probably the Helm. No, because they'll still block pieces. The Bonds of Agony of Sage is Sneak Attack being such a fun card, forcing more blocks. Yeah, I've heard Uzuri is also really great too. Essentially, dominate in general is just really nice. But I can see it working out better. You go sneak attack something in a solitary. Those. Alright, problem is big brute pieces. We don't have too much access to. It's 2 red, 1 blue should do. Alright, now we thumb through cards quickly. Definitely offensive. You like Instilled Fear. I don't think the goon cards are workable. Tree block should be fine. Cheap shot feels like it should be in the deck. This 6 scale is probably too costly. Low blow. This should be fine. And then the brute pieces. We still want big attacks. Is there a way to make boost? Yeah, beast mode. Good? Probably not. Flex strength in blue. Probably strongest survive. And rough up. I don't know how often you can trigger rough up though. But we are basically looking for 2 for 7s. Stick it in here for now. Strongest survive. It's basically replacing big swing, show of strength, command and conquer. First roll. I don't think we'd get the vigor from that enough. Asking for trouble. Ah, what am I thinking of? That's the dominate one then. Alright, this is more of the Azuri put into play. Whereas I'm thinking of Isolate. There we go. As long as you have danger digits and run lunging press, it gets over in the end game. Yeah, I'm wondering if like push the point will come back. So I remember when, everyone touted on that as just super good for closing out a game. The windups are probably decent enough. Take them in yellow. Like strength. How many are we at? We're at 31. I don't know if I have too great of pummel hits though. But just for the sake of Klloo, it should probably be Mighty Windup, Agile Windup. And then maybe just a little bit more defensive pieces. So we'd be looking for... is it Take It on the Chin? Prevent 2 crane agility. Probably don't need the agility though. I think when in doubt, always go back to 4 defense. What do we have access to? Asking for trouble does seem nice. The vigor could matter. Could end up being bad. I don't think Tessa's strength would be worth it. Take more boot triggers? Probably not. I'm missing Mandible Claw. I mean, Beach S could be interesting when it comes out. A selective discard. Something else I'm not sideboarding in enough is... well, it's probably worth more. Is the Arcane card. That should probably just always be in your sideboard. The 4 value one. Battlefront Bastion. And not broken. It's nice. Kind of like some more blues or yellows. What are we at? 15 and 12. Was it Arcane? Clarity? Yeah. Like this should just be a sideboard card for Arcane matchups. Like that, and then your pieces should do. There's a lot of lists where we have enough slots to just chuck 2 of them in. Pummel, done. Or it could be more flex strengths. Because they're great pummel targets, especially late game. And still fear, I already have. I mean, there's the other 2 for 7s that are probably worthwhile. The limited ones. 2 7 power. Not right behind you. What were they? This one. Give them a piece of your mind. Probably worthwhile. Do we have access to any steel? That would also be nice. Because we're giving our opponent a lot of vigor. The answer is no. One more card. I'm just going to stick an Arrogant Showboating in because I really like it, and I would like it to be usable one day. Privates. Yeah. Single player. Alright, let's see how far off a normal game this is. Sort of over in terms of resources. I mean, it could just be a big swing here. That's probably not bad. Stash the concealed object instead. Since it's turn 1, that's probably what you want to do. Oh. Oh no, I miscounted resources. That's fine. So it should be put them into place then. An 11 to start, a vigor for next turn. But your opponent would probably just get the vigor off that first turn, so that's not exactly what you want to do. But we're fine to Mocking Blow. Pay for KO. Discard this. Not an accurate check because I will miss the vigor every time against the bot. And we should have blocked, but yeah. I think this is definitely workable. Like, we would have had the vigor, so this should have been fine. This would have been a nice turn, right? I don't think I need to test KO too much since it's probably the main deck I've been playing at the moment. What are we at anyway? We're at 53, so 2 cards spare. Cheap shot on the sideboard. I need to look through and just pull out all the staple-ish cards, right? So like Pummels, Arcane Polarity, anything that's, you know, good value for this format. Especially the Arsenal Destruction. But all the Arsenal Destruction are pretty specific cards, so maybe, maybe not. Now, it'll be interesting to see if there's enough defense reactions to make, like, Wreck Habit decent. It seems like there won't be. Seems like it's more focused on blocks. Alright. Since you brought it up, why don't we just do Solitary? Because this is just attack with stealth and attack without stealth, right? Over and over. Do you care about marking? I mean, it's still just great value. Yeah, if it lands, it's great value, I suppose. Also, don't forget, up to Sage. Sage digits. I'm guessing it's mark. Or maybe you take a different dagger. You don't rely on the marking. You rely on the minus to block. It is quite nice. You just take the dagger for every occasion. Oh wait, no. All the other ones are Majestics, aren't they? You only have access to Spider Bite. Defensive pieces for the head slot. That feels right. Don't like Bunker Beard. Just the resource that beneficial. I don't think one goes far enough in terms of what you're trying to do. Yeah, arms. Danger digits, and that stays an even matchup. Legs. Don't think you need the extra go again, so it's probably still something defensive. You probably mesh in some spell fray pieces. That's not bad, that's pretty tanky. Probably don't need the head. It really depends on how much Arsenal Destruction there ends up being. Maybe a second piece of spell fray. 2AB seems kind of nice. And before I forget, I'll just stash Polarity. Alright. Let's start with the Dagger Retrieval. Bring up the points. The other one, up 6 in a run. You need them in more than red. I mean, they could also be your easy pitchables, I suppose. Ah, no. I'm overthinking this. No, right? Yeah, these are destroy. No, I'm not overthinking it. These are the bad daggers that are destroyed if you mark. And we want a good mix of stealth and mark. Which of these is the disruptive? Top deck, graveyard, top deck, graveyard. And Double Trouble's a good bait. Blood Rot seems quite nice. Black Widow's a definite. Arsenal Destruction seems pretty good. Lay low. Need the Distillery. Is that worth the value? Doesn't feel like getting the other daggers is going to be worth the value, right? Reaper's Call should be in probably blue. Double Trouble still goes to a 4. Mark still just always demands a card. Probably not Art of Desire. It is really nice. Maybe sideboard, and then if you know you're in a red line matchup, it's decent enough. I suppose you only really need to keep one dagger. You don't really need to go again off this, it's just a free +3, right? Graphene. What would you take? Next attack with stealth, so that seems fine. Would you take Whittle? Whittle's probably not good enough. I mean, the idea would be to stealth dagger something, right? I'd say take it in blue. Plus it's a 3 block. Then you... Oh, yeah, sneak attack. A 2 for 7 is always nice. And what did you say? Lunging press. There's a blue. That's really good late game, yeah. And we also have access to lay low. Free block. And a minus. And then you just sideboard it out in the mirror matchups. And then we want 4s just to see if there are any. Just access to the usual cohort. Which, I mean, on the horizon might be a staple of the format, just as a 4-block. It's a little bit rough. You do whittle personal. Exposed as well. Remark, you can't play this target gets +1. Alright, as another blue cycle. How many blues are we at? We're at 16, so I probably can cut some stuff. I'll probably just cut out the middleman. Like, the value on this just seems really good. Maybe not in blue. Will you get enough marks late game? I also don't have shred. And you want yellow shred. I mean, blue shred's still kind of good enough. Arsenal Destruction might not actually be worth it. We get to enough for Double Trouble, actually, thinking about it. Double Trouble's probably a weak point. Because you probably want to space out damage anyway. Maybe for Uzuri, Double Trouble's really nice. 2 more cards to cut. Is it the Razor's Edge? Feels like it's the Razor's Edge. Or even the Scars. Because I shouldn't need to go again. Alright. Give it a test. Oops. Before anyone joins. Alright, so play patterns is not great. I mean, we do have marks, so that's nice. And we have the shred to make the mark land. The idea would probably be you pick up the point anyway. They block out, you danger digits. Then you lose the other one, though. No, because if they block out, it doesn't get destroyed. Well, I'm thinking they're like Syndras. It's probably a waste of danger digits so early on. But then I'd be able to go Black Widow and play Spike and Shred if need be. And that's a pretty good start if it wasn't turn 1. And then we have the up sticks or the pick up the points. Sort of missing stealth. I can see how the graphene comes into play here, though. Swing. The mark doesn't pay off here, though, is the only problem, so I guess you wouldn't. And I could just play pick up the points. And then if they block, hopefully, Shred still works here. What does it feel like it's missing? Actually feels like it doesn't have enough stealth attacks. Maybe the Double Trouble is the right inclusion? Maybe it doesn't need to pick up the points. Maybe we're just going for the +4 value. Maybe it's not Razor's Edge. Maybe it's not Spike because of the 1 cost. So we usually have the resources floating. Just grab a few of the stealth from Misveil. Yeah, the Art of Desires. Where my mind was going to. Probably just in red and blue. Definitely a very value mid-range deck, currently. Private single player. Not yet, but that feels a bit better. But it'd still be dagger to start. But even at just a double Art of Desire turn here doesn't feel horrible. And then stash the sneak attack. Sneak attack is actually really nice, since it just checks the whole chain, right? No, this chain link. Never mind. But that's still good for danger digits. And I could just take a throwaway boots. That also works. Well, there's one with an attack reaction. No, it's only Fleetfoot Sandals? No, starting point. You take starting point? Doesn't feel like you need to go again. The red annihilates the arm don't hurt when you just have a blue. Yeah, I think that's what I'm missing. Is some of the 2 costs, right? Or 1 cost, or just the higher cost. Yeah, just something with a little bit more. We have the value aspect down. But we're missing some consistent ways to spend it, it seems like. Probably don't need a blue pick up the point. That should be good. Alright. Yeah, so attack. Hopefully mark. Technically I could have up sticks first. I feel like saving that's probably better. And then you just go double Black Widow, right? Because if they block 1... This is not solitary. uh, why am I on Huntsman? Because I didn't name him anything because he's not anything. Arachne Solitary. There we go. Fixed. Thought he looked a little different. Alright. But yeah, definitely a serviceable start. What are we at? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, if we speed through them, I can probably do 4 more. The only side deck is Pick to Pieces, red and yellow for Enigma. Is there anything else that can't be prevented? Probably good enough. And we have slots. You can just cut off the... what would I cut out? Need Spider Bite? Feels like you don't actually need Spider Bite. I feel like the mark probably a little bit better. And definitely want to swap them out. Probably get away with Bunker Beard. This is also just the value of getting a pitchable back. I don't know if 1 AB is enough. Belfry, because we do have a good resource basis. So this should probably be Null Rune Boots. And then you just feed a blue so you prevent 2 and 1. Not great. Probably going to end up wasting resources. Oh, wait, I can take them. Null Rune Hood. Actually delete the Spider Bite. Which maybe I should just take 3 pieces. Since we have that blue basis. We do have a few yellows. The 3 pieces should be fine, and then you just keep danger digits. Yeah, so the value on Bunker Beard is definitely something to think about, right? Any attack is so good. Any action, actually, is so good. Like, there's so many decks where this is just value. Such a nice card. Right, you just Arsenal anything, and it's now a defense reaction. Mask of Malicious. This one? So you pitch a blue, you float 2, and then you get a card back. No, you just float 2, and then you cycle a card. I think I just like Bunker Beard too much. It seems like such cool value. I think I'll leave it at that. But that does seem nice, the mask. Alright, I need to pick simple heroes. Preferably heroes that I've played a little. For us to just quickly do. Problem is, even though I've played them, it's probably been a little while. Tough Nut should be not a hard deck to make. I think you don't have Rock as well, so never mind. This actually might be difficult. Silver Age. I'll probably skip testing and just make piles, because, yeah, I really want to make some decks. It's so nice to have cards that were meh, because you have access to everything else, to actually now be good. Is it Bonebreaker? No, if you're taking Bonebreaker, you might as well take Romping Club. I could spell. Although I do actually like Meat Axe. Alright. I can run all the stuff I want to run. Like Heroic Grits. As no more. Does that work? What else? Spurs. Arsenal on the bottom of the deck is kind of nice. Yeah, we have kind of just picked out all the heroes that go wide, haven't we? Buck Wild is like a no-brainer. I mean, even Tough Nut in this sense is probably going to end up being a go wide hero. Just, a little bit poorer. Start from the back, that's probably a bit easier. Rom just to hit a blue. 2 for 6. Give your opponent toughness. Seems kind of nice. I'll smash up. Go to the back end. Definitely strong to survive. Right behind you? Probably not. Definitely some dig in. Powering Ruckus. My kid does still seem kind of nice. Feels so weird building this without Rock, though. Or building around the resource basis of Rock. Because I just have to get in my head that I can take more reds. You take more reds. I mean, we could still go with draw discard, but I'd like to put in some more actions. Rapturous Applause. We'd kind of like that in yellow. What are we doing? 3 cards. Tough Nut should be a 2 on average. So that pays for 1 card. Ideally, we want attack, weapon. Which doesn't always work because of the go again. So unless we have a go again attack, it's just weapon. So yeah, reds are fine, right? And we just go big and block. I think that's a good start. And then we just go with cheer or cheers. What card's cheer that we care about? Encourage. Cheers itself. 2 turns of toughness. Kind of nice. There's a lot of the if you've been cheered gutted though from him and Pleiades. It looks like at least AO still has access to the mocking blows, right? You don't realize how much adds to the other stuff. Add buffs to the club. Probably barragings. I mean, we'll just do next attack. No reason not to, right? We hit a red, it's kind of sad. The new beat chest ones should be nice since they turn on Romping Club. Prone Crown does not work. Honestly, just the beatdowns. We have enough other brute attacks anyway. What are we at? 40. Give it a quick spin. Problem is, what does arsenaling a card actually get us? It's not much. I don't really want to arsenal the tough. You might have to take Pulping and Wild Ride just so you have to go again. Means then we want to focus on less misses. Which we don't have too many thinking about it, right? You can get rid of Buckwild and Blue. Suppose I get rid of Heroic Grit or the barraging. Shining Courage. Private, single player. This is not horrible. 10 dominates. Ooh. Into a 5. That's not bad. 1 for 5. Discard go again. Was it Savage? Beast Savage Swing? Something like that. Then we just Supreme Block. Nope. That should win us both toughness. Club. Dash. We have a pulping for it. Not a great deal of block here, though. If I give her a grid, I can't pitch. Well, I suppose I could toughen up pitch. No, that's not good enough. I think I'd rather go pulping. Madcap charge, I was way off then. And we did hit a 2. I guess it's just that. I mean, the value's not horrendous. But it's as expected without, you know, a big weapon as payoff. And then equipment. Wonder what it's gonna be. No, but I don't think Bunker Beard's actually as useful because I don't imagine him arsenaling enough for it to be useful. As much as I want to include it. Should always be Barkbone, I think. Or maybe Overbearing Presence. Problem is, Overbearing Presence doesn't really stockpile a whole lot. It just lets you block out for a turn and then still do something. I guess it might be fine. I do like the toughness tokens. With Raw Grit. I don't think we have enough blues. Is this a spend up to? No. If it was a spend up to, then it would be fine. I think you just take full Null Rune. And whatever blocks. Which I guess that still blocks, and then maybe we have a blue. But our blue basis is not great. Suppose we could overpitch into it. Eh. Then legs. You have the resources to maybe get the value out of that. I also don't mind that, just as great amount of pitch. Blade Beckner and Null Rune are definitely staples. I mean, Null Rune was always, but Blade Beckner actually might need more printings. Ragamuffin. Right, yeah, the cycle. And also, how do you spell it? Not Raga. Oh, no, isn't it banned? Because of wizard things? I think it is. Because otherwise, yeah, that would be nice. Put what you want to pitch on top and get something better. Oh well. What did we say? Madcap. At least it turns on your weapon swing, and it's cheap enough. Problem is, I definitely want more blues for it. Oh, and it's a 5. I think you really have to bank on the toughness, though, for him to be workable in this. Because otherwise he's just a slower brute, and that's really, really bad. I think if you're not building the toughness, you're really, really losing. And then even with the toughness, I don't think there's necessarily enough value there. 3, 6, 7. Alright, get to 10. Not even halfway, but at least it's a start. While we're here, this Arachne should probably be Huntsman. I mean, Huntsman is probably not great. And maybe there's not a point in doing every hero. Because there are just going to be bad heroes. I can also do this easier if we go Blitz Living Legend. I have 2 pages of heroes left to make. Ish. Slash, also apparently other stuff. Delete this. And delete Melody. I don't need Melody. I did want to trial Melody with a 60 card deck, see if it's good. Not at all. I feel like this should be easy, but at the same time, it's probably not. Because you lose all your hyperdriver here. Right? Drivers. Oh, it's weird like that, isn't it? Alright. Jump starts. Red. Probably not worth taking the blues since you don't have the gear. Probably still want gas up and stuff, right? Not great value. Ah, the fatigue decks. I might hold off on building the fatigue decks. There's chances you can get quick fire for free. Recharge, I guess. I mean, there's a world where you get enough value. And this is just crazy. I don't think twin tech is good enough. Start with that. Big Bertha in blue. And crankshaft in yellow. Ah, take it in blue as well. You need a very healthy resource base for this. At least you do have access to some really nice items, though, still. Again, it's a case where other mechs probably still do it better. Any other items? I think it's just those four. And then just the good boost. Slash anything that might pressure. And clearing your opponent's equipment should also be nice. There is still a decent chunk of battle worn, though. Am I missing anything? Guess I should look at some of these cards. Problem is, if you bloat your deck with items, you're screwed. And right now we're taking 8. So I don't necessarily know if Heist and Medex are great. We'll probably try it. I mean, it should be... What's the 0 cost of that? Of Dumpster Dive? Fender Bender's kind of okay. Ah, we'll try Medex. Pace, Overloop. It would be nice making a... No, it's not the good one. The other weapon's Majestic, isn't it? I wonder if there's a workable Plasma Barrel mech out there. Dazzle. 2 cost 6. I mean, should be workable. Ground Pulse seems interesting. It is really about getting the resources up and running. Rocket, there's the other 0. Throttle is still decent, I think. Where are we at? We're at 38, so we're almost there anyway. Probably just needs more blues. T-Bone's always a nice option. Technically, the 0 to 3 yellow should be good enough. 0 to 50? No, 0 to 60. Yeah. Then is there a point? It is better. But I think we'll save that for Dash. Take 2 cards out. Really quick fire? Oh, we're not going to hit the banish. Head. Government mech attack. Nope. Don't think it's worth going after Evos. Think surprise, surprise, it's Bunker Beard. Places gain a resource. I mean, it might be worth roping in some of the Evos. What Evos do you have access to? It's just the shitty set, right? Evo equipment? That work? That makes sense. Battery pack, steam counter, an item. Next weapon attack gets +1. Not horrible, it's too costly though. Instant +1 is also not great. Don't think any of the Evos are going to be worth it. Arms. If only we had a payoff. We don't. So it should probably be the +1. And the action point. The action point means I don't have to crank. Well, actually, you do because of the goddamn weapon. Ugh. You could try and rope in cogs, I suppose. Yes, Achilles for Arcane. Just... Crossbelt, no, we're not doing cogs. Resource or defense? That's the question. Probably defense. There are quite a few heroes that, yeah, unfortunately, fall apart. Because although this does wonders for slowing things down, it doesn't slow down all decks equally, which is sort of the problem. Like, there's a cohort of heroes that need this sort of restriction, and then a middle ground of heroes that need access to a little bit more juice. Max is probably in that category. I mean, I don't think there's much point in me taking Norrin Hood. Private. Deck. Ugh. Or even, Max would just be so much cleaner if your tokens went to the graveyard. Granted, you need to stockpile the tokens, so that's where it becomes bad. Like, this turn is not good. I suppose it's first turn, so it's just about setup and stashing something. That's a lovely hand to see. At least penetration script is yellow. And we can force our opponent to block. We've cranked an item so I can swing. That's... Boost. Crank. Getting the steam counters will be very important. Oh, horrendous. 2 cost. 1 cost. 1 cost, yeah. So we can still play our whole hand. We're just going to run through our deck, though, which is a bit unfortunate. It's actually working a little bit smoother than I thought it would. Granted, this is relying on the Banksy continuously hitting. Recharge is nice, and we do have the blue. It should still be fully extend. Now, with 2 in play, we're definitely a lot happier. It's not horrendous. So we get a hand like this. I don't even have one in my graveyard. I don't have one in my graveyard. Not that I truly need the resource. And I will have a mountain of resources here. Rank. T-bone. Try and get stuff into the bin. Rank. Hit. Counter. Now, we get a big hand, we're happy. Not a big hand. But it does mean we can start just playing out. We like T-bone to start. Our resources. Pass up, hit the red. Crank for an action point. Yeah, it means I don't have to crank this one. Throttle. Save the counter. That. Nope, that was the wrong order. Max. Don't need to crank. That. Get a resource. Banksy. Got there. And now we're sort of super happy in terms of what we can do. Yeah. It escalated. And got there. Wasn't horrendous. Patch scripts, no, they're probably still fine because they're yellow. The boom grenades are maybe not nice enough. Like, they're only there as early pressure until we get the hyperdrive sorted. Once we have hyperdrive sorted, there's probably better payoff cards. And the cost at the end of it was probably a little too high. Probably want more 1 costs. Don't think I want to rope in cogs. Dumpster dive, maybe. Bender does seem kind of nice. Maybe it should be Gigawatt instead of... Now, Recharge seemed good, and so did Gas Up. Instead of the Twin Deck, you take Gigawatt Yellow. It kind of feels better. Seems better. Twin Tech is just too hard to use. So, start. Good. Just want to get to 10. 3, 6, 9. No. When do these convert to Silver Age? That's interesting. Either way, don't need them. Alright, 2 more decks, and that's a good quota. Who to hit? I mean, we could try Scurv. Seems a lot worse now that he's missing Nimby and stuff. Alright, yeah. We'll give Scurv a whirl. So, question is, aside from big boats, how exactly making everything work out? Because even your ability sort of shits on boats, right? Because the resource can screw you up. Yes, the correct start is to look at gold. You also don't have any other weapon besides sticky fingers. I guess you're fine with like money or your mouth, because you can steal the gold back. Problem is, it needs to be at a point where your opponent can't utilize the gold. I think you kind of just need it. It's a good blue. Money of your life is definitely nice. So you play this, you wager, you send a big boat. I mean, yeah, that actually doesn't feel bad. Money of your life, money where your mouth is. And maybe you have rum to then sticky fingers afterwards. That's, yeah, workable. Oh, wait. It's a rare. Thank you. I don't know why. I thought it was a majestic. That does make it a lot better. High tide. You make sloop work. You probably can't make sloop work. You definitely want all the yellow boats. Probably want sloop and blue. Yeah, I think you have too many reds to bother taking battalion. I mean, we'll try it. I mean, we'll just go full boats. I just need more yellows and blues. Dallas beating is an easy go again with boats as well. That could be nice. Start a course. Yellow +3. I mean, we should be able to get to 2 attacks. I don't know about 3. Like the gold, but then that relies on us letting our opponent take more of our gold, which is probably not an ideal. Just more money of your life. It could still be the NIMBY stuff. It's just a lot worse. Because you can't get to it easily. Plus, we don't really have cards to play. They're more discard fodder for Golden Tipple, which I don't think is good enough to then turn on the equipment. Pummels. Pummels. Pummels are a yes. This big boat pummel. I mean, in terms of a crapshoot list, I guess this is a start. I mean, blue's 12 in total. Let's see. See if our hands come together. I'd have to ditch the Barracuda. Not horrible, but we get the gold, and then we get a Marlin. And we'd probably want to rum it up first. And probably just send the sloop as damage. Then we have Marlin for next turn, along with rum. But no blues, so we definitely need more blues to make this work. But we still have pummel, so it's not horrendous. One resource. The gold generation is still going to be the issue, because without hook to just get gold, relying on tipples is kind of bad. Money, or I should be 1 money. Hungry still drive in hand. That's 3, but then nothing to put on to. We can get to the blue, the right amount of blues, we're definitely happy. So what are decent blues? Zealous, just as something with Gorgon, but we most likely want to pitch it. Caution of the Wind, if we're in a blue heavy deck, could be nice. I mean, Swell should be workable then. Why couldn't you have a cost? It's stockpiling for a future turn. Logarithm seems okay late game. Port side, we do have a decent number of yellows. Question is, what are we cutting? Sloops? I don't think the sloops are workable. Worth trying to make workable. Probably not Pummel in red, as much as it pains me. Probably not Money or Your Life in red. Maybe not the Tipples. I mean, that should be a better starting point. Right, Sigil Cycles and add Fool's Gold. Seems way too slow, though. Murderous Rabble. I think we kind of have to go full blue. Which maybe then they're okay. I mean, Flying High? No, it's not worth it. At least Fool's Gold is there for the tipple. And it is not a 3-block. Wrong way. I mean, yeah, doesn't have to be good, just has to be usable. Do we have enough yellows? We should have enough yellows. One of Your Life is definitely a power card in Scurv, so it has to stay. The pummels seem invaluable. Probably the shifting time. It's logarithm. Because it doesn't let logarithm doesn't let us float resources. But off of rum, then it's logarithm, a boat, 2 blues. Logarithm might be possible. One of Your Life does something similar without the rum. Maybe we don't hit it. Maybe we don't have enough blues to hit Saltwater Swell comfortably. Slash the ability to look. Probably that. Shifting Tides. And probably some sort of yellows or money. I think the pummels are worth more. Still not enough blues though. There's just 2 blues into a boat. Yeah, it's not fantastic, but at least I'm happy. Like, the ideal hand is 2 blues, a boat, and a pummel. That's, I guess, the backbone of the deck that we should be aiming for. So in order to comfortably have 2 blues in our hand, there needs to be at least 20. If there is. I'm going to throw in all the pummels. I think we're not going to bother going for gold, which makes this a very, very generic deck. But I think that's kind of what it needs to be in order to work out. High Tide. We probably just take the sloops. Because at least then it's follow up with a weapon swing. It can still be pummeled. It's just too much value to not try to go for the blue. I don't think we have enough things to discard. 22 blues. Hmm. Probably just be something defensive. I really want to like punch above your weight. A late game value card. Go 3 for 5. Eh. Push the point could be interesting if it lands. Hmm. Something with a little bit of value attached to it. Yes, it's shifting tide back, right? Because it's still a 3 block. Oh, wait, I was at the right amount. Never mind. Oh, right, no, because without a payoff to sigil, I'd rather something like that. Yet, I still find it. Never mind. I mean, that's pushing 14 and a discard. That's kind of nice. I guess the draw and discard. At least this cycle's fantastic, though. We should get lucky here. No. Of course not. It's 1 o'clock. Think we might have to leave it there. Do the equipment quickly. Pitch and draw is actually really nice in what we're trying to do, right? Because we're just trying to get High Tide active. Chests. We don't need the resource, so it should just be something defensive. Of course, will be that and that. Arms. We like to run Nimby. Nimby into boats was so much nicer. Well, once again, well, no, same reason as the hatch. Should be something pitchable. Again, just to trigger High Tide. I mean, the nice thing is these are just always going to be 2 cards. As long as we find the blue, we're happy. But I think Punching Gloves is usable. And legs will probably be something defensive, which means Null Rune. This is kind of a 3 Null Rune deck. Not horrendous. Does rely on things lining up to get some value out of it. Probably can the sloops, to be honest. Maybe put the tipples back in. Go yellow and blue. Cut out the sloop. And what? Probably this. No, salt water is just good in terms of high rolling. Probably the seafloor salvage. Right, so there's still some luck needed, but I think that's 9 decks or 8 decks. So yeah, we powered through a lot. They will definitely vary. And 9 decks overall, and we have how many left? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38. 38 more. I might just try to cram them out, right? And then, next weekend we start doing some testing, some refining, and I can start putting out videos for them. Because that's the overall objective, is just to have something for every hero, good or bad, right? To start with for Project Klloo, Silver Age, right? Because, yeah, really looking forward to just being, hopefully, a boom to play count, game in general, right? Because we were on a good trajectory, and we're still on a good trajectory, but, anything to improve the starting point is just fantastic, right? So, yeah, here's to its success, hopefully. But I think we'll leave it there for today because, well, lunchtime. I'm hungry. And thinking about decks too much is doing my head in a little. Anyway, anyone hanging around, watching posts, thanks as always. Hope you enjoyed nonetheless. And yeah, see you next time, which hopefully, but don't hold me to it, will be all the decks completed. Maybe. Most of them. I'll try and do like a couple a day, right? Over the next week. What would that be? If I did 3 a day, that would be 21.